Don't you hate how when you haven't done something for a while, it's just so hard to start doing it again? Well, I think it's around about time. Man, fucking intro, we're playing Demonbane. The deep. The abyss. The endless, limitless sea of stars. The far reaches of the infinite void, the other side of a lonely world. Who knows of the strange things that lurk there, the threat that approaches? Who knows? In a place beyond human knowledge, beyond insanity, the world and the other violate, break, defile each other, over and over again. Still they continue. Still they return, forever into the future, forever into the past. And even now, at this very moment, there will likely never be an end. Not if, at the end of endless time, even death may die. The stars do not blink. The stars do not waver. In space, their brightness is far too great. In the blackness that lies between those countless lights, this planet exists. The blue earth, deep, deep blue. Dark blue, fathomless blue. Yet look how it glitters, faintly, dazzlingly, peacefully, overwhelmingly. Tearing apart that blue, a dark wound spreads. A black crack splits the sky. Compared to the expanse of blue, it is so very small. However, it is an undeniably present other, unnatural. Something that cannot exist. Something that must not exist. It is a clear tear in the world. From that tear it comes, as though it has been rejected from the other side, loathed, scorned, ridiculed, cast out. It is steel, a giant form of steel. By what scale can it be called giant? The answer is clear. Compared to what its form is based on, it is much too enormous. The steel has been shaped in the form of man. Or perhaps seeing it that way would be a mistake born of ego. If man is made in the shape of God, perhaps it too has been made in God's image. However, no matter what shape it is meant to emulate, it is flawed. It has been sliced and smashed. Many parts are missing. It is short an arm and a leg, and half its face has been torn away. Across its chest lies a great gash, as though it has been cut open. In order to be in the image of God, one must not be incomplete. God is perfect. With all the damage it has taken, it can also no longer be called an image of man. A person missing so many parts is no longer a person, but a corpse. However, the steel giant is yet alive. Still caught in the inertia of its ejection, the giant seems as though it will fall to earth. Yet, the giant does not resist, nor even pay mind to its fall. Instead, it clenches its bloodless iron hand, though two of its fingers are bent in unnatural directions and it cannot form a fist. Thrusting its fist forward towards the crack from which it has been cast out, the giant spreads its fingers. Floating in space, gathering in the hand, networks of light appear. Coming together in countless layers, they shape themselves around the hand. In the shapes appear symbols, characters carved out of light into the space itself. A web of light, formed from characters of light. Thus, a pattern is given shape, and something other occurs. The pattern collapses. The lights burst apart, scatter, reform, contract, expand again, and crystallize. The gathered light takes form, shaping itself into a mass of metal. The faintly shining object is bloodthirst and destruction given form. It is a gun. The giant tries to seize the newly formed gun, but its index finger is broken. Gripping the weapon with just its thumb and ring finger, it places its middle finger on the trigger. The gun is like a blade of concentrated malice, its point aimed straight at the tear in space and through to the other side. Strengthened by the desire to kill, power flows into the mechanical finger. The trigger is pulled. Light surges from the muzzle of the gun, a raging beam of lightning. Although it has been fired from a crude position, the light flies straight into the crack as though guided by malice. The light is swallowed into the darkness of the fissure. There is a brief silence, although the universe has been silent from the first. Then the tear shines with light, light, light. Light bursts forth. The violence of the light burns away the blackness of space. The flood of light swallows up the whole of the world. Within the light, there is silence. Then the white darkness begins to withdraw. Yet, for a time, some light remains burned into the void. In that blurry white darkness, the gravely wounded steel giant, still fallen, spreads its steel wings. From those wings issue light, somehow allowing the giant to support itself against inertia. The giant's descent ceases. All this time, the giant's eyes remain fixed straight ahead. The fissure has vanished. There is nothing but the endless sea of stars. The other has vanished, leaving not even a trace behind. No. There are lights shining. Are they remnants of the light that has been shot from the giant's gun? Wrapped in those lights, a crimson shape can be seen. The crimson shape is also in the form of man. It is another steel giant. However, it lacks none of its parts. A perfect image of man, or perhaps a perfect image of God. With its right hand held out, it looks down upon the wounded giant. It is as though its expressionless steel mask is laughing contemptuously. The crimson giant's voice echoes through space, where no sound should be heard. Clear like the sound of a bell, it is an androgynous voice that can belong to either a young man or a young woman. The voice continues. Addressing the giant that has fired upon it, the voice is gentle, as though speaking to an old friend. Yet, within it, there is an echo of loathing. The Iron Giant does not answer. However, its actions speak louder than any words can. A second shot is fired, and then a third, fourth, fifth. A rain of lightning strikes at the crimson giant. Light gathers in the Crimson Giant's outstretched hand. A floating pattern forms from characters of light. In front of the Crimson Giant appears a mighty barrier that blocks and disperses the rain of lightning. The Crimson Giant's arm splits, and from it the gaping maw of a black cannon emerges, its length covered in shining symbols. From the barrel of that cannon spew forth masses of darkness deeper than the black gulf of space. Bending and absorbing even the starlight, 11 masses of darkness attack the steel giant. Belching fire from its wings, the giant tries to avoid them. It is only able to dodge. The steel giant expands a barrier of light. 3 of the spheres of darkness are drawn into it and annihilated. The giant sacrifices its gun to eliminate one more. The gun warps, is absorbed, and the darkness vanishes. The remaining mass of darkness catches the giant. Half of the giant's abdomen is hollowed out. This time it is a fatal wound. The giant's life force is about to give out. Raising the output of its wings to maximum, the steel giant charges at the Crimson Giant. This seems to take the Crimson Giant by surprise. The 2 giants collide, throwing out a shower of sparks. Though it has only one arm, the wounded giant clings to the crimson. All of its power is devoted to not letting go. The Crimson Giant's armor shrieks in protest, and cracks appear in the armor of its back. Houkou! Clinging to the Crimson Giant, the wounded giant continues to charge ahead. After traveling a certain distance, it makes a wide turn. As though seeking the pull of gravity, the giant charges, falls at full speed toward the earth below. The nearly dead giant does not answer. Instead, it puts even more power into its arm, crushing the armor on its foe's back. The 2 giants shine red with heat. They have entered the atmosphere. The wind howls violently, trying to burn the giants to ash. Their bodies burn red, melt, burst open. The deformed humanoid loses the remainings of his form, while the red humanoid is wounded once again. Freeing its left arm, the Crimson Giant seizes its trapped enemy's face. On the back of that hand, a shining pattern emerges. An explosion. The steel giant's half-remaining face is completely obliterated. From the shock of that attack, it loses its hold on the Crimson Giant. With its wings spread, the steel giant falls, its arms outstretched as if to grasp the heavens. Then the Crimson Giant thrusts out its hand towards the steel giant.
損害率 33%、 戦闘性能 18% 低下、駆動システムおよびメイン動力に一部損傷あり。追跡しなくてよろしいのですか、マスター。
A different voice emerges from the Crimson Giant. His voice is high and young, yet soft, composed, and wise. Though strange, it is the voice of a girl. A voice from within the giant answers the voice from within the giant. This time it is that androgynous voice. The giant's abdomen opens, and the steel womb emerges a human form. Its sorcerer's robes and golden hair are blown about by the strong wind. Its skin is too white, and its eyes are the color of gold. Such a deep gold does not exist in the natural world. And what is more, despite being gold, it gives off no shine. There stands a young man who hides within him a golden darkness. Far, far above the ground he stands, buffeted from all sides by fierce winds. Yet his body never sways in the slightest. Finding it merely irritating, he nonchalantly controls the wild motion of his hair, as though that is his only concern. With lightless eyes he looks below. Night. It is as though the entire world lies at the bottom of a quiet, dark blue sea. Far below, countless lights shine upon a land that spreads out like a black shadow. The lights of a city, the shine of people living their lives.
キャッツは間違いなくあの町に落ちる。すべては運命の刻むがままに。そして運命の輪は常に世の手中にある。
イエスマスター。万物はマスターのもとに集い、貸し付き、従うのが正しき姿。すべてはマスターの御心のままに。
From atop the giant, the youth continues to gaze down. His eyes are those of an absolute being, arrogant in his kindness, affectionately, pityingly, contemptuously. He gazes upon those grounded stars trying so desperately to live. He gazes upon his ancient bow that has fallen from the stars of heaven to become a star of earth. He gazes upon a perfect other, the same as he, who also wields otherworldly knowledge and an otherworldly giant. That other is... Chapter 1, I Am Providence. No matter how brightly their cities are lit, nor how much science exposes the darkness of superstition, people cannot abandon God. Here we are on Earth. This is because the light of science has even exposed the empty places of the human heart. In order to fill these vacuous spaces, people try to stuff them with religion. How convenient. People built this city, this great mass of hubris, in order to escape from God's rules. Yet, when things go bad, as of course they do, they go right back to relying on God, taking advantage of God's endless love. Not that I, Daijuji Kuro, am in a position to be talking about anyone else. In fact, I'm probably the poster boy for that. I'm insolent, disrespectful, and depraved, but when things get tough, I turn right back to God. I don't know a single prayer or Bible passage, but I have no problem using God for my own convenience. No matter how pathetic it is, I have no choice but to depend on God. This just shows how deeply the emptiness has eaten into me. I am hollow. I am empty. I am the void. That's how desperate and clear the danger I'm facing is. Seriously, I haven't eaten in a week. All that's passed these lips in the past week has been salt and water. Not to mention that I think what I had a week ago was a crust of bread. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the stray alley dogs are eating better than me. And yesterday my salt reserves ran out. The Engels coefficient had been getting pretty close to 100, just dropped all the way to 0. If you look at the calculations one way, it's an unprecedented economic depression. Of course, it's not like I'm just sitting around waiting to die. My coming to this church is all part of my very optimistic life plan, which involves swallowing my pride and mooching a meal. My only miscalculation, the person I'm supposed to be mooching off isn't here. Huh, guess I gotta die. Are all these white pigeons gathering around my body in order to feast on my corpse as part of some Zoroastrian scheme? Whatever. I'm so tired. If I go to sleep under Rubens' The Descent from the Cross and the Raising of the Cross, the Dog of Flanders will come, and raising a bloodthirsty war cry, carry my soul off to Valhalla. Not good. I'm finally starting to hallucinate here in this hopeless and glorious afternoon. My ending theme has even started playing. Soon my life will fade into the credits. and then the curtain will fall, and the audience will deliver a standing ovation. A storm of emotion will sweep the world. It will set a new box office record. The whole world cried for him. We're witnessing a historical moment here. Just see it if it's the last thing you do. Mama, I love you so much I could cut you to pieces. Kuro, make love to me. Ah, he's on the ground. Yippee, corpses, our favorite. Distressed? Still distressed. Even more distressed. I sure do love flawed protagonists. Yippee, we pissed him off. The kids scatter like baby spiders. I chase after them with all my might. Just then, the church door opens. She said it, not me.
Sister か。このガキを無事に返して欲しければ飯を用意しろ。今すぐにだ。つうか急がないと俺が死ぬから。
あらあらあら、クロちゃんたら向こう岸に渡りかけちゃって。
Sister Leika. I've known her ever since I arrived in this city, and I'm trying not to spoil her identity. While working tirelessly as the keeper of this rundown church, she's also taking care of these kids, orphans with nowhere to go. She's usually kind of soft-tempered, but she's really a fine, upstanding woman. And she's hot, with a huge rack. He said it, not me. It's just...
やっと落ち着いた。満足満足。
はい、お粗末様。それでね、クロちゃん、お話があります。はい、そこ。すっかり何の遠慮のかけらもなく食後のお茶を楽しんでいる場合じゃない。しかも勝手に。はい、そこ。すっかり何の遠慮のかけらもなく食後のお茶を楽しんでいる場合じゃない。しかも勝手に。
いや、まあそこはどんまい。で、なんだよ改まって。
Well, of course I can already tell what she's actually going to say by her formal manner of speaking.
どんまいって何が。いえ、それはまあ別にいいでしょう。ではクロちゃん、単刀直入にお話ししますよ。
はいはい。
働けよ。
She sure did get straight to the point. It feels like a knife just stabbed me in a vital spot. I'm guessing somewhere around the liver.
いや、シスター、俺は別に怠けて働かないのではなくて、働きようにも仕事の依頼がないからなんだけど。
そんなヤクザな商売をやっているからよ。いいですか？人間真面目にコツコツ働くのが一番なのです。天は自らを助くる者を助く。だからクロちゃんも努力しなければいけないんですよ。はい。
Damn, like usual, she's gone into full lecture mode. From my experience, as soon as she sees my face, this person can't resist a lecture. If it weren't for that, everything would be all well and good, but...
ヤクザな商売ってのはあんまりじゃないか。俺はお天道様に逆らうような、んなやましいことはしてないぜ。多分。
何を言いますか。どんなに言い繕ったところで所詮やっていることは他人のプライベートの盗み見ですよ。探偵なんてお仕事は。
Yep, private investigator. That's Daijuji Kuro's profession? Of course, this isn't a Conan Doyle novel or anything. Usually I'm tracking people down or investigating adultery, so Leica has a point. But even so...
世の中には不可欠な仕事だよ。うん。俺は俺の仕事にプライドを持って接してるんだ。いくらライカさんにでもどうこう言われる言われはないぜ。
その誇り高い仕事の最後の依頼がいつでした？
Probably about a month ago. And, of course, I'd been hired to search for a lost pet. And, naturally, the client had been an innocent little girl clutching her piggy bank.
今までどうやって生活していたんだろう。
毎日たかりに来てたじゃない。この前一度本格的にお説教したらひねくれちゃって、しばらくは姿を見せなかったけど。まあ時間の問題とは思っていましたが、もうクロちゃんったら本当に解消なしなんだから。
I thought I'd known what I was getting into when I said it, but I hadn't expected this sarcastic an answer. Something's off. With me using all my charm and playing nice, the event where Leica falls for me should have started by now.
所詮人は一人では生きられぬもの。
追い詰められるとカッコつけて逃げようとするのはクロちゃんの悪いところ。
結
Critical.
婚しようか、シスター。
断る。
Why is it that sometimes her normally gentle tone suddenly becomes so sharp and cold? I don't know, maybe because you proposed to
へ
her.
え、いいもんいいもん。こうなったらまた飯をたかりにたかりまくってやるからな。覚えとけ。
そんなにも後ろ向きな発言をそんなにも前向きな態度で言い切りやがりますか、クロちゃんは。
第十字クローは男だからな。
なんでそう間違ったプライドにばかり全力で忠実かな。
Ay, ay.
帰る。
ちょっと話がまだ。
Huh, that's annoying. I just... Ignoring Leica, I get up from my seat. However, as I touch the doorknob, Leica speaks to me again. This time her voice is different, quiet but serious.
クロちゃん、学生の頃はまだしっかりしてたのに、どうして大学辞めちゃったの？
I freeze with my hand on the door. The heavy silence presses down on me. I feel her eyes on my back. Leica's sincerity hurt me just a little. Finally, I turn around. I force a glib smile. But maybe some self-derision leaks through.
別にただ単に落ちこぼれただけだよ。よくあることさ。じゃあね、おやすみ、ライカさん。
With that, I leave the room. I shouldn't have done that. Leica's helped me out with more than just meals. I owe her a lot. Well, talking tough is part of my job, so I suppose it couldn't be helped. As was mentioned earlier, I'm working as a PI, although I don't get very many jobs, which I suppose makes me a third-rate PI. Even so, I'm not really cut out to be a hard-working salaryman. Ever since I left the university... Illiterate. Ever since I left the university, I haven't had much of a work ethic. Just like Leica keeps pointing out, I'm completely entrenched in this half-assed lifestyle.
身の程を知らないと道を踏み外すつうことだよな。要するに。
Muttering to myself, I turn a corner. Ahead of me, I see a collapsed building surrounded by cops. The two officers in charge are a bored-looking guy and a guy who looks like a real hard-ass. Looks like a Black Lodge robot went on another rampage. Not particularly interested, I walk past the scene. I'm not the only one. Everyone walking by is pretty indifferent. After an idle glance, we all just keep on moving. After all, that sort of thing is a daily occurrence in this city. Worrying about oneself is a lot more important, especially for me with my non-existent food budget. Well, getting all gloomy won't help anything. Even if I had a request, it wouldn't amount to much. Oh well, maybe I should get another part-time librarian gig. My studies in college involved a lot of that, so I'm pretty used to handling books. It's not the kind of job I can get excited about, though.
明日には明日の風が吹くだ。頑張れ俺。
Pumping myself up, I hurry back to my office, which also doubles as home. When I return home, I find that my power, gas, and water have been shut off. This is seriously depressing. With the power off, there isn't much to do, so I decide to hit the sack early. Lying on my sofa, I pull the blanket over me. Turning my head to the side, I look through the window out over the city. Skyscrapers soaring up to pierce the heavens. A city that never sleeps. This is Arkham City at the height of its glory. The progress of science and the revival of alchemy have drastically improved people's lives. This has created business chances in all fields, and the economy is stronger than ever before. Drawn by the city's prosperity, people of all backgrounds gather to create a new life. While there are those who attain vast wealth in a single night, there are also those who in that night lose it all. For good or ill, this city is overflowing with energy, more than it can contain. Without a doubt, Arkham City is at the center of the world. The other side of that, however, is a steady decline in order. Vagrants are increasing, the slums are growing, and gangs and new religions are gaining influence while trampling on morality. The worst is an extremist cult calling itself Black Lodge. Claiming a sorcerer as their leader, they preach that magic is meant to be used, and following their lusts, they continue to revel in crime. It wouldn't be wrong to say that most of the worst crimes that happen here can be linked in some way to Black Lodge. After all, this city is in a constant state of upheaval. In a golden age, in an age of chaos, in a dark age, all at the same time. Such is Arkham City. Here is where millionaires and paupers, sages and fools, saints and sinners are all accepted equally, and live or die equally. Because that's the kind of city this is, I'm able to live here. However,
足りない。
something's missing. Something's missing. There's something absolutely essential missing. I feel empty. Not finding out why that is, without time to even think about it. This day will end, and tomorrow will come.
それも仕方ないか。
Muttering to myself, I close my eyes.